I'm running for East Parish Sheriff. Anybody that does?
Yeah, I saw you signed up.
Okay, all right. Let me tell you what's happening, guys. It's time for something different. I mean, it's absolutely time for something different. Our leaders believe that incarceration is the answer. That's evident by the fact that they want to build more prisons. That's all they want to build is more prisons. They're really not interested in education. Now, God has already told us how to solve this problem, but we need to start listening to Him. He said, people perish from lack of knowledge because they reject knowledge. We have children who go to school, who have folly in their heart. They get thrown out of school. They go to the alternative school system, and the same thing happens. And we're amazed. And government says, you know, we've done our job. Well, I'm sorry, you haven't. That alternative school system needs to have a mission change. The mission statement should say, you're not going to fail yourself, your family, or your community, and you're going to get this GED or high school diploma by any means necessary before you leave here. And we're not going to be all day about it. Why? Because they're children. That's why God said we had to make sure that we took care of them, train up a child in the direction they should go. And when they are older, they shall not depart.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
Did our leaders forget that portion of the Bible? And that's what's happening. It seems like it's a money-making thing to me. Because we have our kids who act out, they end up going to prison, and they get paid money for that. The federal government pays us money for each one of those prisoners.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, that's terrible, because they're our future. And at the rate we're going, we're not going to have anybody to pass the baton to.
I got a grandson that went to the alternative school, and now he's in across the river in that facility.
In facility, right. We ought to be able to do it right here in East Parish Parish. We are the seat of government right here in East Parish Parish. The seat of it. Everything, all the powerhouses are here. The largest, most populated parish is right here in East Parish Parish. We can do it. If we can go and find money to build this, a library that we don't even use. Are you kidding me? $19 million for a library that's barely used downtown? We can't even remodel it. We want to tear it down and put another one in like something's wrong with it. Like it couldn't be remodeled. Then we ought to be able to take that same kind of energy and find after-school programs for our children, Saturday programs, weekend programs, all during the summer, because God said that an idle mind is the devil's workshop.
Right, and it is.
Our children now. Now let me say this, guys. Most of you all may not remember me, but I retired from the Baton Rouge Police Department. 23 years of service. Okay? Retired. Full retirement about 6 or 7 years ago. The vast majority of my career was spent in the criminal division, where I investigated crimes against the person, crimes against the person in terms of injuries. I also investigated crimes of that was dealing with like forgery, thefts, and so forth and so on. So I've been around a while. But I also had an opportunity to become a commander of a division called Traffic Records. Now in that Traffic Records division, when I got there, my boss, who most of you all may know is Ron Stevens, he said, listen, he said, I'm giving you this unit, but it's the worst one I got. Well, about a year or so later, he was complimenting me in the staff meeting and said, it's the best ran unit we have. Because we brought in and used the old concept, total quality management. Some of you might know about that. That's where you bring everybody into the equation. And you have a conversation about what the problem is, and then you agree on what the solutions are, and then you buy into it, and then you're held accountable. Nobody consults us about anything anymore in government. They just make a decision. We got it. Don't need to hear from you. Won't even return your telephone call. And they keep getting elected.
Yeah.
Something is wrong. It's time to start today. Today, you all are the responsible parties for changing things. Why? Because it starts with each one of us individually. I'm asking you all to give me an opportunity to show you how it's supposed to be done, because I'm going to be accountable to you, because you're going to be involved in the process. We're going to have community meetings. The sheriff's office is going to have community meetings. We're not going to wait for somebody else to call it. We're going to call it. We're going to provide transportation for you. You got all them vehicles running around. You got all these buses sitting around waiting, and you got to struggle to get there. You got to make sure that you get there safely. We're going to make sure you get there safely. We're going to make sure you get home safely after the meeting, because we're going to take the ideas of the individuals who live in the area, who know what the problems are and know what the solutions are. We don't have to spend millions of dollars studying something when all we have to do is establish a trusting relationship with the people who live in the area. It's common sense, guys. Let me tell you additionally what I'm going to do. After I'm sworn in, or really before I'm sworn in, because ultimately I don't take the oath until July 1, but the Lord's saying the same, I'm going to call in the legislative delegation. We're going to author legislation that says that anybody who gets arrested in East Baton Rouge Parish that does not have a GED or a high school diploma must obtain one before they pay their debt to society. Compliments of government. Now, once again, we have an opportunity when we have our children, right? We have control. So they're going to get that education. Same thing happens when somebody decides to mess up. Misdemeanor felony, I don't care what it is, whether you're found guilty or not. You don't have one, you're going to get one. Otherwise, you hadn't paid your debt to society. Now, I'm not talking about holding anybody additionally in jail. I'm talking about the whole process of parole or probation and what all that's a part of. Let's include that into the equation. Because an educated society is a far more productive and less violent one. Right? True. Common sense. These are common sense things that we can do to bring that crime rate down. Now, additionally speaking, the sheriff's office has a budget of about $74 million. And I want y'all to know I'm the only Democrat in the race. Of that $74 million, and I hadn't found out yet, but we will be finding out very shortly, how much of it is spent with people that look like us? Not that much. $74 million. Can you imagine if half of that? Because we are the reason why you got most of us, when they're looking at the color of us, those are the ones that's in parish prison. But we don't get the benefit of it. So what we want to do is to make sure that there's balance in everything that we do. The balance is going to be here, just like you're doing now. You're sitting down and you're balancing. We got to make sure we balance things off so that we can get our fair share so we can bring that crime rate down. Because once again, can you imagine if you had $20 or $30 million to spend in the area, in the blighted areas of Baton Rouge, where they call it the crime-ridden areas? Can you imagine if we had small businesses that could employ our youth and give them money? Because a lot of times this is about survival. Now, I'm not making an excuse for a crime, but a hungry dog is going to find a way to eat. And that's what we have. We're hungry. Some of us are hungry out here. We need to be in a position to feed ourselves. So, when you think about the common sense approach to dealing with the crime rate, bringing everybody into the process, finding out what you think, we can bring it down. We bring it down for everybody because keep this in mind. They used to think that they could take crime and shove it in a corner and be all right. But nowadays it's getting around. It's going everywhere.
Yeah.
So for us to be safe.
And when they know better, they're going to do better.
Exactly. When they be safe. To be safe, we need to make sure we educate all of them. Don't let one of them, not even one of them, fall by the wayside. And what I mean by that is this. If you think about what happened down at the 4th of July celebration, the guy went down and shot up and 2 people ended up getting injured. That's what's going to ultimately happen. One day, if you don't educate and get this guy a job training and give him a job, then what you're going to have is this individual is going to cross the path of one of the ones that has never had any problems before. At a movie theater, at a mall, at a July 4th celebration. And ultimately, he's going to act up and somebody's going to get hurt. So we can't let anybody fall by the wayside. We can make the difference. The difference starts with us. It starts absolutely with us. I'm Mark Milligan. I'm running for East Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff. And I need your help to change the way we are treated when we get stopped by law enforcement.
Yeah.
You think about the aftermath of Katrina when the New Mexico and Michigan State Police made the complaint about how black folks were handled this way, rough and beat up, and white folks were handled this way with respect. Everybody's supposed to is going to be handled with dignity and respect on my watch because we deserve it. Nobody opened their mouths for the most part. Somebody's got to speak up. It's like it was okay. We need to stop the madness and allowing us to walk around like there's no issue at all. Our elected officials, some of them, are walking around like we don't even have a problem. Man, everything's fine, everything's fine. Well, it's not, and it starts with us. Give us an opportunity to show you how it's supposed to be done. We have a website, markemilligan.com. That's M-A-R-K-E, Milligan, M-I-L-L-I-G-A-N.com. I'm on the web. Take a look at our plan and take a look at the other things that we're going to be doing. But we have to get folks out to vote. One other thing I want to make a comment about. Remember this, that there is anybody who is convicted of a felony can have their rights restored to them to vote. Did anybody know that?
How soon?
As soon as they pay their debt to society. In other words, they complete their probation and parole, whichever one. Usually it's one of them. Once they do that, they get a letter of clearance. They can take that letter of clearance to the registrar of voters office along with a current ID and be able to get their right to vote back. That's very important because information is power. A lot of this information is amazing how we haven't been privy to it. But when you think about using it to our benefit, the benefit is just having the information. Information is power. We're going to be the education sheriff. The education sheriff is going to start the Did You Know segment. Did you know? Did you know? You know how many people, for example, how many people realize when you get off the interstate at Essen Lane going down 10, you get off the interstate and go to the OL hospital?
Yeah.
That's a dedicated lane that you don't have to stop. How many times have you pulled up somebody, why are you stopping? The lane is dedicated. So did you know? Let's get folks educated. Right. Well, I've had people in front of me that just stop dead.
Yeah, I found
It's
that
like they
out.
cause a bad accident, essentially. So I'm just saying, when you think about that, did you know the felons could vote? The Did You Know segment is going to be on every governmental line that deals with the sheriff's office. When you call up to the sheriff's office and you try to make you trying to get any business done, did you know? Did you know? Because that's the time we have your attention, we need to use that. So lastly, I want to tell you, we want to make sure we simplify the process for people to be able to get out of jail. Whenever they have a bond, we want to simplify that process. I've heard of nightmares where people have to go back and forth, because they're told one thing, and when they actually get there, it's something else in terms of the amount of the bond and so forth and so on. We got to do better. Government is supposed to be other people, by the people, for the people. That's what will be on my watch. Thank you all.
What was that you were saying, I missed it, about stopping?
The highway? She wanna know about
Yeah, when you're getting off the interstate, going down the interstate 10, you get off the interstate at Essen Lane, like you're going to the hospital or OLOL, there's a dedicated lane that when you get off, you can just keep going. You don't have to yield. Some folks will yield, and they'll stop all the process because they're not realizing. That's what I'm saying. We need to be, the Did You Know segment is going to allow you to learn a lot of things about what's going on in
What
Baton
hospital you said that was?
OLOL. Our Lady of the Lake Hospital. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Any questions? Ask questions. Ask questions. Ask questions. Ask questions. Y'all. Ask questions. Y'all. Everybody. Ask questions. Ask questions.
You know what I noticed now, and I feel how sheriff is over this area now.
Yes, ma'am.
And one time it was just,
City police. Right, that's because they've allowed things to get out of hand. Look, the sheriff is the chief law enforcement officer of this parish. It should not have gotten this bad. We should have been in here a long time ago. But the problem I have is that since it's gone as far as it's gone, it seems like you think that everybody needs to be arrested. Everybody you come in contact with that looks like us, it seems as though they're a suspect. They get treated roughly.
they do.
You know, so I walk up to you as a police officer, and then the first thing I do is think you're a suspect, and that's not the way it's supposed to be done. That's that second-class citizenship stuff that's happening, and we need to stop it. And see, that's the sheriff's responsibility because he's the constitutional officer for East Baton Rouge Parish. He's the only law enforcement that's a part of the Constitution of Louisiana. Everybody else is a political subdivision. For example, municipal chiefs, like Baker's Act and Central. You know, the last rule they just created was Central, and they made him a police chief. But according to the Constitution, he's the chief law enforcement officer of the parish, which means he's responsible for making sure these things happen. We lack leadership.